Hair Cream Boys are back, and You and Yours looks into just how consumers are putting nostalgia into the follicles. Thousands of teenagers are saying, "Be off with you," to their punky hair gels, and are turning to creams their dads used in the 40s and the 50s. Any excuse for a silly voice. You may have noticed that 50s nostalgia has reached a peak. Men's fashion has gone very Jimmy Dean and slick back hair is back in. That means hair cream. Now, I've got to admit at the outset that as somebody who recently walked into a hairdresser to be told by the barber that he'd seen better hair on a coconut, well, I'm no hair fashion expert, but I do know that Brylcreem is, the company says, being bought by young, fashionable hipsters. But what about the oldies who used to use it, the middle-aged? I went on the streets of York to find out exactly what they remember of it.
Well, it reminds me of when we were young, when we used to use that in the 30s, didn't we?
Yeah, the war years with the Brylcreem boys.
Yeah, the Brylcreem boys, the RAF, weren't they?
Yeah. Well, it died out more or less. Yeah.
Not died out, actually. I'm informed by certain hipsters that hair cream is making, wait for it, waves. Sorry. And being used by Simon Le Bon and Boy George and Frankie of Frankie Goes to Hollywood fame. Didn't impress most of the middle-aged chaps I met in the streets of York there.
I don't very often use hair cream. If I remember rightly, there was a very famous advertisement of the cricketer Dennis Compton in the old days.
In the old days, spot on, Dennis Compton, all-round sportsman with hair that looked like, what's sort of like a recently sprayed wing of a car. I tracked him down and asked him the inevitable question, did he still, as the motto went, dab a little on?
I do actually, yes. Yeah. I mean, I always kept it, but didn't use it when it went out of fashion in the 70s.
Yeah.
Yes, I thought, well, I'll keep with the fashions, you see, and I kept it in case it came back, which it has, of course. Yes, I wasn't really surprised that it came back because shorter hair has now come back into sort of the fashion, isn't it, for men?
Well, in its heyday, the company was selling 100 million tubs of the stuff to men worldwide. That's about 1,000 million dabs. And there were more posters of Dennis Compton's face than there were of Mao Zedong's. And I wonder if he used it. Could be. And, as the commercial went in the 40s, cue the funny voice, Brylcreem. No gum, no soap, no spirit, no starch. British to the core and reaching all parts of the empire.
People have told me extraordinary the times they've seen me in countries you would never dream of.
Yeah.
I remember somebody saying, I even saw a big poster of you in Nigeria. Somebody said they saw me in Turkey, certainly plastered in Australia and South Africa. And I suppose the most amusing occasion was that I got hit on the forehead by Lindwall in a test match at Old Trafford and went off, and then I had a big plaster put on. Anyway, at the end of the test match, I got back to London and I went down to the tube station at Bond Street, and there was this huge poster of me, and some character, and I must say he must have been a character, put the plaster on the forehead in the poster.
It's potted nostalgia, isn't it, really? Kids are buying the stuff, psychologists say, as a reaction to the recent anti-establishment fervour. They're looking back, they say, to a time when things were more stable and more secure. Possibly. I tell you something, British Rail don't feel so secure at all because of all those stained headrests. It's all started, the nightmare started again. And if you're a girlfriend of one of these hep cats, be warned by your elders and your betters.
Well, it used to be a bit sticky, didn't it?
Yes. I object to it because my husband used to use it and he doesn't now, but I did object to it.
Bit sticky, yeah, that's the problem. Right, well, it's a bit of a bizarre story, this, because I thought I'd just check out to see whether the young were aware that this stuff was making a comeback. So I'm standing outside York's Heppist nightclub chatting to two fairly erudite gothic punks, one's called Brian and another chap who called himself Betty, and really did have a bone through his nose. And I asked Brian, I said, what came into his mind when I mentioned the magic brand name?
Suspenders.
Can't quite see the logic of that. And who did the product remind him of?
Norma Shearer.
And who wears it now?
Well, I think you're wearing it, actually, aren't you?
Tusk, it's a pack of lies. Anyway, I'm no personality. He must have some ideas of the trend-setting stars who dab it on these days.
Paul Daniels, on his wig.
Wicked, wicked, wicked. But Betty was a bit more forthcoming.
If you've got a Mohican or something, well, you can use it to stick your hair up or spike it. You know what I mean? Well, it's like anything. You can use soap or whatever, or gel or God knows what. But, Brylcreem's just one of these things you can use. You know what I mean? Just like spike your hair up.
And so speaks Monsieur Vidal Sassoon. Well, whether or not 100 million pots of the white stuff are actually sold next year, only time will tell. Maybe it'll be a case of hair today and gone tomorrow, and I'd like to apologise most humbly and sincerely for that rather weak pun. But before parting, I did meet a chap who was 98% bald and absolutely insisted that he still used the stuff. Surely he was fibbing.
I still use it for the sides.
Yes, it
If
does.
I don't, they stick out, you see. I'll tell you something else I use it for. I put it on my face.
What?
Every day.
Because it's...
Well, it's on my hands, you see, and I put it on the side of me. I used to have a head of hair, of course, but now I used to use it for the side. But now, after it's finished, I always massage my face with it.
And don't you think it's a lovely skin?
If you can see my skin, 65 years of age.
That's not bad.